Okie dokie. So, according to the comments, a lot of people really wanted this Backlash review, so you guys are gonna get it. So welcome guys to your 2018 Backlash review. I didn't do the greatest Royal Rumble review because they didn't even really make a big deal about that show. They talked about the cage match. Braun won a belt. He got a belt and a trophy. It was one of those shows that kind of just happened. They mentioned it a little bit, and it wasn't really crucial to anything. It was just a show to have a show in Saudi Arabia, whatever. So I passed on that one. That show was like 4 or 5 hours long. Little did I know that Backlash was going to be the longest Backlash in history. 3 hours and 30 minutes. And yes, I did actually sit through all of it just to do a review. The difference between Raw and SmackDown when I'm not really watching the whole entire thing, the pay-per-views, just so everybody knows, I watch the whole show. And I watched this one, now I'm not going to say I paid full attention. I was multitasking with little things on the side, while, especially during the Nakamurphy match, which we're going to get to in a little bit. So, you've got this show that's just about as long as a SummerSlam or a Survivor Series. Going, you might as well have made it 4 hours. On the network, it's totally out of control. Remember when pay-per-views rarely even got to the 3-hour mark? They were more commonly 2 hours and like 37 minutes or something like that. 2 hours and 45 minutes to round it off, really. It didn't go any longer than that, because who's going to sit down for that long? Well, little did we know we were going to enter into a 3-hour Raw, and little did we know everything. We knew very little of what we were going to get ourselves into in the future of this product. So, we've got this show. It's 3.5 hours. It's being considered to be one of the worst pay-per-views of all time. Was it? Well, let's find out as we go through the whole card together. And we'll find out if it indeed was the worst show of all time, or one of the worst in, somebody said, 31 years or so. I don't know how they arrived at that number. Seth Rollins and The Miz kick off the show for the IC belt. People are saying this match stole the show. This stole the entertainment. This stole my interest for the worst, and just took it to another part and threw it out the fucking window. This match was totally ridiculous. It was going a million miles an hour. It's that totally unrealistic style. They're just hitting 1,000 moves. Seth Rollins is, hitting a move. Then he's, he's jumping off the top rope 1 minute. This was completely ridiculous. Holy shit. And a very, very long match. We're talking about a 20-minute match here, folks. It was long. It was long as hell. And it didn't seem like there was any end in sight. It didn't kept on going. It did. It was going on forever. And, there needs to come a time during these matches where, the referee, he's got the earpiece in. Doesn't anybody tell him backstage, okay, let's start wrapping things up and everything? It's too damn long. It's time to tell the guys to go home, finish the match. Because we're sitting there, we're supposed to be watching this, like, most of the pay-per-view's almost over already. And the guys are still wrestling in there. The Miz is great. I'm a fan of The Miz. But this guy, Rollins, the fact that You know, you had Mark Henry putting this guy over so much, and I don't know how a guy like Mark Henry is so into a guy like Rollins when they're completely different styles. They have nothing in common, looks, in ring, you name it. You know, everything is different. I mean, he's talking about a guy that talks like this. I mean, you know, that's who we're talking about there. This is the one guy that I wouldn't think that Mark Henry would even dream of putting over, but there he is putting the guy over. And I don't understand why. I don't get why a guy like Mark Henry would have such an asphyxiation on Seth Rollins where he'd single the guy out and say how great he is. You know, you totally got me there. I don't know. Anyway, you know, Rollins, curb stomp, gets the win. Nia Jax defeats Alexa Bliss. You know, after the match, she gives this corporate, cringe-worthy promo about, you know, how people shouldn't be ashamed. And I get it, it's a positive message and all that. And, you know, Brad, you're being mean for, you know, mocking a good cause here. I get that, but I mean, is this a wrestling show or a public service announcement? You know, when Alexa Bliss is doing it, it's a parody, so it's understandable. It's there to entertain. This is not entertaining. This is, you know, oh, it's a positive message and everything. It's like, okay. The thing is that Nia Jax eats too much. That's the that's the thing about it. I mean, are we supposed to, you know, if we want to say that Nia Jax is overweight, should be allowed to say it. I mean, because it's a fact. I mean, are we going to say that she's not? Or are we going to say that she's like Alexa Bliss? Are we going to say she's got the toned body and, you know, that she looks like $1 million? No, we're not going to say that. So I don't understand why WWE's putting this thing over. Like, you know, it's more of this politically correct nonsense from them. I'm not going to get into it right now because we could talk for 2 hours. I could do a whole entire video, you guys know, on just this alone. This message that they're doing is very cheesy for a wrestling product, and I don't think that it's necessary one bit for them to be doing this. It's very out of place. Jeff Hardy defeated Randy Orton to retain the U.S. belt. The thing about this is I was expecting this to, like, be one of the best matches on the show. And it was really just very by the numbers, very average, very generic, and just, you know, there was nothing about this match that was really appealing that, you know, I don't even know why I even bothered watching it. I'm watching it and just bored out of my mind, really. There's nothing going on in this match. It's, you know, it's better than the Miz-Seth Rollins match because at least it was at a better, you know, pace where things at least made sense. But, you know, there was no story behind this at all. The story behind it was pathetic. One guy walks out during another guy's entrance, and then the other guy does the same thing to get back at him next week, and then they're talking about how much they respect one another the week after that. What a great storyline, right? Storyline of the year right there. Elias was involved in probably what was one of the most annoying segments I've ever seen, like ever. This was not only the cheesiest segment, but again, it was long. It was like everything on this show had no barriers. Like, there was nothing about this show that it seemed like nothing really had a beginning, middle, and end. It's just things happened. They went on forever. And, you know, it was like so freestyle, this show. There was like nobody designing this show around the structure or anything. I mean, all the people involved, we start off with Elias. He gets interrupted by New Day. I mean, my God, are they annoying? Are they played out? If you are still as big of a New Day fan as you were when these guys first debuted. I'm sorry, you're just the biggest mark there really is. If you're entertained and you're still bootios and, you know, still marking out for these guys, give me a break. When they showed up on the scene together and they formed this team, I was putting them over. These guys were failing in their careers. They were going nowhere fast. They were being funny at first. They were involved in, you know, it felt fresh. It was new. Now it's stale and old. And now they've made it so immature and everything. Big E comes up with, you know, a parade drum. This is a marching band drum. It was retarded. And it didn't end there. You know, we're doing music together. And then Rusev Day comes out. Aiden English starts singing. It's like a freak show. I understand they've done this before. You know, they want to get silly. They want to add a bit of levity to the pay-per-view because God knows it's boring as hell. And I could appreciate that. You know, we're trying to loosen things up a bit. We're trying to make you laugh amongst all this other in-ring garbage. You know, you've already seen these things 1,000 times. So, you know, I could at least appreciate there being a segment where they're trying to make things a bit more entertaining and lighthearted. But my God, does it have to be this over-the-top stupid? You know, Aiden starts singing. Rusev, I mean, this, like, first of all, there's no follow-up. If they're going to do something with Rusev, could they at least follow up anything what they did with Lana on SmackDown? You know, at least that was something in the neighborhood of being interesting, even you know, just a bit, just a little bit interesting. But no, we're not going to do that. Just more stupidity. Then No Way Jose comes out with Titus Worldwide. I was shocked that they didn't have Titus, like, fall or anything like that, or do anything, you know, clumsy, like, unless they're abandoning that gimmick. But watch, I bet you on SmackDown he's going to go out there and do something like that again. So then Bobby Roode pops out of nowhere, hits a DDT on Elias, so he got his revenge for, you know, hitting his neck into the turnbuckle. And then Bobby Roode then goes off dancing on the conga line. I mean, you know, what do you want me to say, guys? Bobby Roode, this guy from TNA who was like their top heel, right? Legitimate guy. The guy looks legit, right? He's got the physique. He's got the promo skills. You know, he's got the look to him. He's a star. And ever since they brought him up from the main roster, all it's been is glorious. This tagline, he's got no character. They've made him just an entrance. He's just an entrance, nothing more. And here he is dancing. If there's anything that Bobby Roode should not be doing, it's like the last thing on the list that I thought that they would have Bobby Roode do. It would be dancing. I mean, this is like, okay, like, you've got to be kidding me here. You know, you want to make this guy like a champion. You want to make like he's got a whole pedigree and everything. A guy that looks like Bobby Roode should not be dancing. He should be all business. And I think the problem is here is that he's just not cut out to be a babyface. And forget about that. I think if it just wasn't this current batch of writers, they could probably figure something out how to get this guy over as a babyface. If this was the Ruthless Aggression era, I guarantee you Bobby Roode already be over. At least I'm saying. See, I'm not even going to reference the Attitude Era, because people hate when I do that. Oh, there he goes again talking about the Attitude Era. So let's say Ruthless Aggression Era for the sake of argument, right? So imagine he you know, debuted during that time. I think it wouldn't matter if he was a heel or a face. We keep saying this because we've had that before, where we changed him from heel to face, and they're still not over. Murphy's still not over. I think he's better as a heel. It's better than what they were doing before with him. But to say that he's over now, no, it doesn't really matter, because the shows still suck. The character is non-existent. So I'm not going to stand here and say that, the guy just needs to be a heel and all will be solid. Same thing with Roman Reigns. Do I think he'd be good as a heel? Yes. Do I think that, anything's really going to change as a result of him being a heel? No, because, like you said, still the same creative team. Still going to be the same product. As long as you still have the same goofballs writing the show, nothing is going to change, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen is what these guys write. So, changing a few characters around, it might be a little bit better, but it's just going to be a little bit. Daniel Bryan defeated Big Cass. I mean, you bring this guy back. He just got back, and he's losing already. All right, bro, well, how would you book the match? I wouldn't book it at all. You want to give Daniel Bryan a win, and I agree. Bryan is definitely a higher commodity, and Bryan definitely should be winning a match at this pay-per-view as opposed to losing one. But Big Cass should be winning too, so then this match shouldn't have happened. Not yet, anyway. They should have pushed it off to a later date. I mean, why was The Miz and Daniel Bryan not being built up for this show? After the Superstar shakeup, that should have been it. It should have been Daniel Bryan and The Miz. I don't care about saving it to SummerSlam. I don't care about... The thing is, it's not like this company has the ability to wait and, pick their spots and think about what they want to do, because the show's not good. No one's watching it, so why are we waiting? And the thing is, why does Backlash have to be a piece of shit? So SummerSlam can be great, but all the other pay-per-views have to be bad. Why do they have to be B shows? Back in the day, nobody would even consider these to be B pay-per-views. We looked forward to each pay-per-view because each one had something a little bit different to it. And sometimes, the matches would be better than like the SummerSlams or the Survivor Series, because that's just how it was. Because they didn't think about so far in advance like that. Like, oh, we gotta wait for this match all the way down the line. If it's like a WrestleMania, I get it. But to think about that until you're gonna be ruining your current product, just do it right then and there. Stop waiting and biding your time for, just so you get on the right show. Think about how many different programs could have happened. We think about, I don't want to compare it to this because it's so out of its league, but I'm saying we always think about how we didn't get like a Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold match, or a Shawn Michaels, what was that other match that they never did? The Rock and Shawn Michaels. We never saw that match. Like, those guys were there at the same time. They just never took advantage of it. They could have done it, but they waited too long, and now Michaels is retired, and The Rock really, is not scheduled to be back anytime. So I'm saying, like, these things are, not going to happen most likely. So we keep on waiting, and then all these other opportunities, they all pass. So, like, obviously everybody wants to see The Miz and Daniel Bryan. And they don't give the audience what they want to see, so no one's going to stick around for it. It's not like anyone's really dying to see it anyway. It's just probably the most interesting thing you could do with either guy at this point. So Carmella defeated Charlotte. I like the way how Carmella works her matches. She works them like a heel. I don't know how many times she stuck her damn tongue out during the match. I don't know what that's like. It's like, that's supposed to be cocky and everything, but I mean, she does it to an absurd level. I mean, she does it like almost after every single move. I would kind of do that a little bit during the match. I get why she's doing it, but so we've got Ember Moon who sticks her tongue out. I mean, everybody's Gene Simmons all of a sudden. Everybody's sticking their tongue out. I don't really get what the whole thing is about this. And the finish was bizarre. Like, This is the one who, you know, defeated Asuka's streak and all that. You got a kick in the leg. And then, you know, she goes in for the cover. It gets the wind on her. You know, there was it is, you know, a decent argument to say that the Iconics should have got involved. I'm kind of happy we didn't have to see them. You know, because every single time they come out there, they're cringeworthy as hell. But I mean, it would have made sense to at least have them out there or something, because, you know, they did aid Carmella in winning the belt, and this was the whole storyline. We had Charlotte wrestling them and everything on the show, so to not have them there and just, you know, basically how Carmella won was clean. I mean, no heelish tactics, no chair shots or anything. You know, Charlotte was way better on Raw. I mean, the promos, and I think it is, again, as a heel, she's just better. I mean, if you're going to be cocky like that and everything, I think you might as well just be a heel. She was cutting good promos on Raw, and on SmackDown, this is like a watered-down version of what we were getting of Charlotte over on Raw. This is not good. This run right here, I mean, it feels like it's more important because they had her beat Asuka and all that, and they're really trying to show that she's, you know, great and better than all the other women, but you know, I'm not getting that same feeling that I did about her on Raw. Like, oh man, she's one of the best. Like, not really looking like one of the best, really. Not really sounding like it either. You know, she was getting the Flair act down pat. And it wasn't just one of these lame things like, oh, she's just there because of the legacy. Like, no, this girl had talent. And, you know, we're still seeing that talent, but, you know, and the finish was just so damn lame. I mean, the moonsault, she's done this move 1,000 times. Now, all of a sudden, her knee buckled. Like, the botch is part of the match, and she gets the kick, and that's it. AJ Styles and Naka Murphy in the WWE title match. No disqualification. It ends with a double count out. No, not outside the ring, but they were both in the ring and they couldn't answer the 10 count. That, you know, that's like one of those rules that like never ends in the fit. Well, it ends here. Ends with a low blow. You know, AJ doesn't bother to wear a cup or anything like that. You know, after getting low blow for so long. I was looking at the video package. And, you know I made fun of the low blow and how Naka Murphy, I said in my SmackDown review, how he's got this asphyxiation with the low blows and everything, and having his hand so close to AJ's genitalia. But the way after that last low blow that he did, the way how he kept this, like his arm right there, and he's like looking at it, it's like a little bit disturbing. Now I know Ric Flair used to do that too and everything, but with Naka Murphy, it was creeping me out a bit more. I really thought about, like, man, he's like really staring at his arm there a long time. This match, it was just going on forever again. I mean, this was something that they kept on going and going and going and going. And this one spot, however you say the name of the move, the Shinyaska or whatever, I know everybody else seems to know how to pronounce it, but it's not doable for me. Can't say it. So, what was it? AJ had a chair, Naka Murphy's running at him, throws the chair at Naka Murphy, kicks the chair. It, like, slices off, like, AJ's skin, like, the thing, like, right away, like, the blood starts flowing. I mean, what a dangerous spot. You're talking about a face right here. You know, you got your eyes here, your nose. I mean, this guy could have done some serious damage. I mean, thank God it only hit his cheek, but what a sloppy spot. I mean, Naka Murphy's supposed to be this big veteran from Japan, right? Japanese modern-day legend. He knows exactly what he's doing. AJ, who, you know, I'll say the guy definitely knows what he's doing, but this was just It's more on Nakamurphy for kicking the damn chair back at him. Like, what the hell was that all about? We've seen throwing chair spots numerous times all the way back to the original ECW. But to kick it back at somebody like that is just completely stupid and foolhardy. I mean, I'm looking at him like, what the fuck? He kicks it back at him. He's bleeding profusely. And not only that, this match, like, they're doing these big spots, and I'm saying to myself, why don't I care about any of them? Because, like I said, it's like the same thing like the first match. They're going from spot to spot. It's like, who cares anymore? This is not even realistic. It's not even fathomable. It's just, like a damn video game. It's like playing I think even the 2K games, I think the characters, the digital characters in the games sell more. This is more like the SmackDown games where you'd hit a move and the guy would get right back up. It's more like that. How's that for a weird, comparison? It is. It's like, this is like arcade style, for Christ's sakes. I said the wrestlers stayed down in the games longer, for God's sake. Even the video games are more realistic than this crap. Braun Strowman and Lashley defeated Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. We're going to talk about Raw. The Raw review's coming up next after this pay-per-view review, this Backlash review, whatever. They have no idea what to do with Lashley. The thing is, they threw Lashley back on the scene, and now they're going to try to tell us who he is, and we're going to get to that in the Raw review. It's hilarious, and I know I don't want to, spoil anything if you haven't seen Raw, and if you just watch my reviews for the purpose of keeping up with the product, which I appreciate, by the way. You're gonna, you're not gonna want me to spoil this, because I'm gonna rant on it when I get to my Raw review, because it's a bit ridiculous how they're building up Lashley, to say the least. It really just shows how simply clueless they are. You've got a big 6'3" guy, 260, 70 pounds, and you can't even think about what to do with him or how to use him properly. You're gonna, I'm gonna. Anyway, all he's been is he hasn't had a singles match since being back. It's been all tag matches. I don't know why the first thing you could think to do with a guy, a world champion like Bobby Lashley, this guy who feuded with Vince McMahon and everything. The first thing you could think to do when you get back is, let's put him in as many tag matches as possible to try to keep the spotlight off of Lashley. They put him in the ring. Not only, okay, Braun Strowman, okay, good, popular star, over star, one of the most popular stars on the roster. He might be the most over guy on the current roster. So I get that. Why, if you're gonna team him up with somebody, then Strowman's probably the way to go. All right, so you might want to put him in a program with Strowman, but no, why not? Why do that? Right? That make too much sense. Let's not do that. So let's put him against Owens and Zayn. We've already seen this match on Raw, but now let's book it on a pay-per-view. And this match came after the WWE title match. Why are Nakamurphy and AJ even in the WWE title match if they can't be even entrusted to be main eventers? If they're not even going on last on the show, where they're the only world title match on the card, right? Brock's not there, no universal title. They're the only ones, they have the most important belt now. They're not even going on last. Even a damn tag match that we already saw on Raw is getting put higher up on the card than them. What do you want me to say here? And what is this deal we're seeing Strowman doing this thing where he runs around the ring to the cheers of the crowd? Why is he pleasing the crowd? We're going to talk about this again on Raw in his match with Kevin Owens. He'll have a match with Kevin Owens on Raw where he's doing these spots where he's playing to the crowd. And I get that he's like a baby face now, but, Kane was a baby face too at one point. Did he play to the crowd? The Undertaker did he play to the crowd? No, they didn't play to the crowd because the thing was they were monsters. If you're a monster, you don't play to the crowd. You're supposed to be untamable. You're going to have the crowd tell you what to do, tell you to do one more move to the opponent. So you had Owens or Zayn bailing out on Owens. Lashley gets the win. So, Lashley's move now is a vertical delayed suplex. Not the spear, not the dominator. I don't know. That kind of just seems a bit odd to me, like a bit too basic. It's not like it's a jackhammer. It's just like a simple suplex, which is, in a time when I'm watching a first match like that, the opener with Seth Rollins and Miz, where moves are just that disposable, where they go transition through them like that. Lashley hitting a suplex is just, it's not gonna seem special after all. See, that's why that style kills this product. There's too much going on. Nothing seems special anymore. Then in the main event, it was Reigns and Samoa Joe. And, this match was fine. It was okay. The crowd was rallying against it. The match was going on forever and everything. I get that. It wasn't a bad match. Not a good one. Wade Keller is giving it a dud. He gave the opening match like 4 1/4 stars. This is what Wade Keller is giving to The Miz and Seth Rollins. Right? No psychology, transitioning through moves like this, like candy, like kids going trick-or-treating and eating all the candy, just like this. It's all over the place, whatever. All these other matches are fine, but the one that has Roman Reigns in it, what does he rate this match? Does he give it 3 stars? No. 2 stars, 2.5 stars? No. 2 1/4? No. He gives it a dud. And I'm saying to myself, how can you okay, the match wasn't that bad. What he didn't like was that Reigns won. And he's going after the guy saying, oh, you're counting your paycheck and everything, and you're just there to collect it. What does this guy have against Reigns? Why is Wade Keller in every column he does? Why does he feel the need to disparage Reigns, rate his matches down? He's always got something against the guy. The match was long, it went on forever, but you gotta give me a break. You gotta give him a break already. This is not his match, and he talks about how he doesn't want to be there. He just wants to collect a paycheck. How would this guy even know what's going on in Reigns' head? The guy is going off a script. All he's doing is he's just there to, he's there to make his money. He wants to collect a paycheck for his family. He's not there to please Wade Keller. He's not there to please the wrestling journalists. So I don't get why he's giving a dud and he's doing all this nonsense. What the? To give this match a dud, I'm not saying it was a great match. I'm not here to be Roman Reigns' lawyer and everything like that. And I know everybody wants me to turn against Reigns here on this channel, but that's simply not going to happen. I become more sympathetic, if anything, for Reigns because they give this guy such a hard time. It's ridiculous already. They're giving the guy a hard time, and it's not warranted. Leave the guy the fuck alone already. He's not doing anything that bad. It's just you're obsessed with your guys that you like. You want these guys to go over. You don't want Reigns to go over, and that's why you have a problem with it. Okay, so if you don't like him, you don't like him. But the personal attacks, and Wade Keller's supposed to be a journalist. He's supposed to report on this fairly and impartially and all that. And I'm not really understanding why Wade thinks that he could still be that. and attack. He's just as bad as every one of these marks in the crowd. And let's talk about for a minute here the chants during this match. Not just during this match, but the whole pay-per-view. WWE has one of the worst crowds. Okay, this is at the Prudential Center to the New Yorkers. Let me say something about my fellow New Yorkers. You suck as being a wrestling crowd. You are annoying, and I will tell you right now, New York has got a lot of mental defects in it. I'll say that right off the bat. You've got a lot of people who are mentally ill in this city, and that really shows with the wrestling crowd. I mean, these people, we want Enzo. Okay, so, you were saying you want Enzo now. These are nonsensical chants. I'm not going to really break them down for you, but just to show, like, this is somebody who everybody was booing at one time. Now you want Enzo. The thing is, these ridiculous chants, I said it right from the start. This started with the whole CM Punk thing. They were chanting CM Punk during the match. And I'm saying this is Samoa Joe. Forget about Roman Reigns being Samoa Joe's in the match, right? So this is the indie darling. Everybody loves Samoa. Oh, I love Samoa Joe. He's not fat. He's a great wrestler. Okay, well, here you are giving this guy a hard time. Samoa Joe's locking in a rest hold, and you're giving it to this guy. You're chanting nonsense all over the match and everything. We got to respect these athletes. Oh, it's okay to disrespect Samoa Joe. It's okay to respect the indie darlings, but you're disrespecting them. So enough with the shit already about, oh, we have to respect these athletes. We can't say bad things about the show. There you are. You're heckling them. Why are you paying for front row seats if you're going to just heckle the wrestlers during every match? This is like at Ring of Honor when I said when I went there for the first time, it was something new. I found it humorous. It was funny. But it got to the point where it was just getting ridiculous already. I mean, I'm like, these guys are just a bunch of nerds with no lives. And so what they do is they want to get involved in the show to feel more important. And it's annoying already. I like the crowd was. Do you want to know how this match was a dud in essence? It is because the crowd ruined it with all their chants and all the annoying shit that they were doing during it. That's what you could say in a sense made it a dud. Not the wrestling going on. Because that was all right. There was nothing bad about this match, like, from a wrestling standpoint. It was okay. It went on way too long because they were trying to make this like a marathon match for whatever reason, just like every other match. But yeah, there you go. The crowds only get worse and worse. And when they come to the Northeast, all bets are off. Like if it's in Philly or something like that, people say that those are the best crowds. No, they're not. They're some of the most annoying crowds I've ever seen in my whole fucking life. Well, there you go, guys. There's your Backlash review. They're an annoying-ass crowd. Matches that went on forever. 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. I mean, you want to talk about a long, boring, nonsensical pay-per-view that had no right to be this long and had no right of even existing. I mean, they had nothing on this show. Nothing worth a damn. A non-finish for the Nakamurphy-AJ match. A tag match we already saw on Raw with basically the same finish. And then you have your main event, which is just getting heckled to shit. There's no title on the line. There's no stakes. It's just, a fat guy wanting to teach Roman Reigns a lesson to please a bunch of smarts. And then the smarts shit all over the match anyway. I don't know what you want me to tell you guys. This was, was it one of the worst pay-per-views? That's the question that people want answered. Was it one of the worst pay-per-views? No. I don't think it was one of... Was it bad? Yes. But was it one of the worst? I mean, if we're saying one of, like, are we doing a top 10, a top 20? Maybe. But, it wasn't like, I think I could think of worse shows, but yeah, the show was pretty fucking shitty. So, I mean, I will say probably it was a pretty bad show. I'm thinking of, like, in recent memory, I'm like, okay, you know, the Royal Rumble was decent enough. WrestleMania, you know, decent enough. I didn't watch Fastlane. I'm thinking of pay-per-views from last... it probably was. I mean, the thing is that these matches went on for so fucking long. There wasn't even a Universal title. There wasn't even a big... And that's the other thing. There wasn't even a big match on this show, really, to look forward to, where we could say, oh, I wanted to see... I was like, Orton and Jeff Hardy might put on a good match, but that was just a plain, generic match. It's just like, you know, I don't know, they weren't on this particular night. But there you go, guys. There's your Backlash review. This has been your YWC champ, and I'll be signing out. I'll see you in the Raw review. Until next time.